Okay, welcome guys back to Blender. So today we're going to be making some bowls and some plates. Just a little basic tutorial to get people started off who are currently joining us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and delete the default cube, and I'm going to go to the render settings, which is just up here, which looks like the back of a camera. We're going to go with render engine and switch EV to cycles. And what we're going to go ahead and do is let's go to mesh, and then we're going to go circle. So this is going to be the base of our plate. I'm just going to go ahead and S for scale that one upwards just a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and just split the atom just right here from the corner. So on this one we're going to do a side view, and then we'll have the main view right here. So we're going to start off with the main dinner plate to begin with. And we'll go to edit mode, so just up here, it should be in your top left. You can go ahead and switch objects mode to edit mode. So what we're going to do, since this is the base of our plate right here, go ahead and just click that off. Let's go F fill. We're going to go with E for extrude. And then all you want to do is just press S for scale, just come up just ever so slightly. We're going to go E for extrude again. Bring this up, make sure that you've got this in the line with the Z axis, so just hold down your center scroll and you'll be able to get that on there. We're going to go S for scale, bring this out just ever so slightly. E for extrude again, just bring it down just slightly to the side so you can see that we've got the side view right here. We're going to go S for scale, bring this out. And what I'm going to do is let's go E for extrude again. Just leave it where it is, and I'm going to go S for scale just to bring this outwards a little bit more. So this is going to be the side of the dish. So essentially what we've got, this one is going to be a posh dish, so it's got more of a base to it than a regular dish. So I'm going to go with G and just bring this up just ever so slightly, just on an angle. So you should have something like this. And we're going to go with E for extrude, bring it up a little bit, S for scale, bring it out. We're going to go E for extrude again, bring this up, S for scale, bring this out just slightly, and then E for extrude, bring this up, and we're going to start to go back into the bowl. So what I'm going to do here is, let's go to toggle X-ray, which is just at the top right here. We're going to go and click that. That will enable us to see on the inside of anything that we're doing. So I'm just going to go S for scale just to pull this outwards a little bit so we've got a nice little bevel. We're going to go E for extrude, bring it up, E for extrude again, S for scale, and all you want to do is just bring this in. So I'm going to go with E for extrude, leave it where it is, and what you'll see on this one is this will be the flat part of the plate at the top. So let's go with S for scale, bring this in, E for extrude again, bring this down, S for scale, bring it in, E for extrude again, S for scale, and all you want to do is just follow the contours of the plates in a nice orderly fashion. So let's go down there, S for scale, bring that down, bring it in, until you're comfortable with the actual design. Now, to be honest with you, it looks like a really good plate, but it's a little bit flat at the bottom. So what I'm going to do, let's go ahead and select this face at the bottom right here. We've got the faces just at the top, so we have vertex, we have edge, and then we have face mode. So we're going to go ahead and just go E for extrude, leave it where it is, S for scale, bring that in, E for extrude again, leave it where it is, S for scale, bring it in, and we're just going to go with G and just bring this up into the middle. So now you can see that this has got a nice little bevel just around the outside. So when we go back to object mode, we should have something like this for a plate. Now what I'm going to do, let's go right click and we're going to shade that one smooth. So that is our big dinner plate. The next thing that we could do is a small dinner plate, and all we're going to do is just shift D. Small dinner plates are generally in the exact same manner, and we're just going to go S for scale and just make it smaller. That's it. Little cheat for you, but it's a nice little way of doing things. the bowl that we're going to do, let's go ahead and let's go with add, and we can go ahead again with that circle. But what I'm going to do, let's move this big dinner plate out of the way so you guys can see what's going on. So I'm just going to press G just to move this up. Let's move both of these up actually. So let's go ahead and add you can do a cylinder if you want to, but I like to do circles. I feel that there's more control with circles, so we're going to go with circle right here. We'll go ahead again, edit mode. You want to make sure you're in the object mode when you're adding things to the scene. So we've got the edit mode right here. We're going to go with F for fill, and we're going to make this in the exact same manner that we've just made the plates. So you can make this bigger, you can make this smaller if you'd like, totally up to you. I'm going to go ahead and just scale this down a little bit. I feel it's too big. So let's go ahead, go E for extrude, bring this up, S for scale, E for extrude, bring this up again. And we're just going to do this in the exact same manner that we've done the plates, except from them being flat. We're going to make this as a bowl. So let's go E for extrude again, S for scale, just bring this outwards, E for extrude, S for scale, E for extrude, S for scale, kind of just make it a little bit rounder at the bottom. Let's go E for extrude again, S for scale, E for extrude, S for scale. I'm just going to bring this up. I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of back up here a little bit. It's getting a bit too big. And we can go E for extrude again, just bring that up. You can go ahead and scale it inwards, just to kind of bring it in just a little bit more. And then we're going to finish this with the nice little bevel on the edge, which is S for scale, bring this in. And then we're going to go ahead with that nice little flat E. So we'll go E, leave it where it is, click, and then S for scale, bring it in. We're going to go E for extrude, bring it down, and we're just going to go ahead and follow that contour of the base of the bowl. Now usually if the bowl is porcelain, the porcelain will be very thick in nature, and for the rest of it, I mean, if you had something that was made of plastic, it might be a little bit thinner. It's up to you. Let's go E for extrude, bring this down, S for scale, E for extrude, bring this down, and what you tend to find is that things are a lot thicker at the bottom. So we can go ahead and bring this down, E for extrude, S for scale, E for extrude, S for scale, E for extrude, and just go ahead and just round that off in the middle right there. So you can see that we have, if I just move this over, we can see that we have the inside right here, and then we have the outside as is. So let's go to object mode, right click, shade smooth. So once we have this now, we have a giant bowl. I'm just going to go S for scale and bring this down. So let's go ahead and just move this stuff back to where it needs to be. So it's going to go ahead and just arrange them as such. You can arrange them in any way that you'd like. So we now have a large plate, a small plate, and a very large bowl, which I'm going to scale that down again because I think that it's too large. Okay, so once we have something like this, we're going to need a material, or at least we're going to need some sort of decoration on here. So as long as you've got your render engine on cycles, this should work great for you. So let's go with the materials tab, which looks like a little world at the bottom right here, and all the options just here. We're going to go new, and I'm going to name this as base coat, and I'm going to make this blue. So let's go with a nice little, I think we'll go with a royal blue rather than a baby blue, but maybe just about there will do for the royal blue. So now, when we go on to the shader tab right here, and we've got material preview, this is what we should get. Or if we go on full render, this is what we should get. What I'm going to do, let's go ahead and add a mesh and a plane. S for scale, scale this upwards a little bit. just to give this a little bit more shadow and a little bit more depth. So you want the plane essentially to sit just at the base. Oops, let's go back again. Come on. Okay, so the plane itself, you want this just to sit underneath the plate so that it's comfortable as such. So we have the plates right here, we have this nice little blue going on, and what I'm going to do, let's go to the shading tab real quick. We have our little blue right here and we've called this the base coat. What I'm going to do, let's add, let's go here, let's add a noise texture. So you can go ahead and add that one, colour to base colour. You'll notice that it turns now this kind of aqua, kind of multicoloured thing. Let's go ahead and just scale this up maybe to about 15.8. And I'm going to go ahead and add a colour ramp. Colour spelled the American way. Let's go there. And let's go plus, and we'll go with that royal blue again. Just about there. Let's go plus again. Let's go with kind of like an aqua kind of blue, just to offset that just a little bit. And then what I'm going to do, let's bring that black over just a little bit as well, just to pull some of that detail. You could go ahead and edit the scale as well if you wanted to. So maybe I'm going to put mine to, let's go 41.6. I like that one. Okay, so once I've got this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this noise texture right here. So we'll go Shift D, click on it, Shift D, noise texture. Now you can put the colour from this new noise texture into your metallic or your roughness depending on how you would like your design. So this is what it looks like in the metallic, and this is what it looks like in the roughness. I'm going to go ahead and put mine into the metallic because I like the tones on that one. And then we can go ahead and add a bump. You want to go ahead and click the bump in between the noise texture and the principal BSDF, the second noise texture. Show something like this. So once we've got this, let me zoom in right here. You've got the secondary noise texture right here. The colour is going into the normal. You want this to go into the height. So go ahead, click that and just drag it across. Now you'll notice it takes a little while to render it, but it's fine. You can go ahead and just play around with the distance on here. You see how that kind of makes like a bumpy texture. You can add some little textures to your bowls and stuff like that. And you can also mess around with the roughness. Make it look smooth, but then kind of underneath you've got this bumpy texture, which looks really nice because it kind of gives it kind of like this nice little coat. If we go to the render mode, this is what it should look like. So let's mess around with this roughness a little bit. So maybe 0.18 is probably a good kind of match with this. Let's go back to layout real quick because I want to try something here. So let's go with the bowl to begin with. We'll go to edit mode. And what I want to do is let's go 7 to heaven real quick. I want to go ahead and select everything around the outside just here. So let's go ahead with Shift Control and just go ahead and click everything kind of in a ring right here. So it should look something like this, just on the outside. You want to be able to, let's take off that X-ray mode real quick. Just scroll across and it'll alter the bar for you, see how that works. So essentially you want to go ahead, let's get this, that bit there, just trust the process at the moment. Just go ahead and select them all as a ring, just going around the outside, so you've got this nice little ring right there. We're going to go ahead and press plus. We'll go with new material. This is in the materials tab, and we're just going to go gold trim. So this, we're going to make this a nice little gold, like nice little orangey gold right there. If you guys want the exact same colours or tones, just type in the hex there at the bottom. Let's go ahead and put the metallic up, put the roughness down. So when we render this, you'll notice that nothing pops up. So all you need to do is click assign. And then we'll go back to object mode. And you'll notice that we have this nice little gold trim around the outside. Now, it's a little bit too metallic for my liking, so I'm just going to pull that metallic down just ever so slightly and pull that roughness across just ever so slightly as well. So now we have this nice little gold rim. We have these nice little gold and, these nice little blue kind of royal bowls going on. So we need to make them a matching set. And all we're going to do is very simple. We're going to click on the small plate to begin with. Go to your materials tab, which is the little pink world right there. You should see next to new another little world in the exact same logo, which is white, and we're just going to go ahead and click base coat. And it's as simple as that. It's the exact same material as we have on the plate right here. Now, one thing that you will notice is the pattern doesn't look consistent compared to this one. The reason is because this is a smaller object, the pattern is going to be more compact. This one is going to have a larger pattern. Now, if you want to amend this, go back to the shading tab, and all you need to do is go to the base coat right here that we've typed in, little world symbols right here, and then it has what looks like two little pieces of paper just at the side. This is new material, so we're going to click that. You should get base coat 001. Now you can change this to base coat small plate, just as such. And all you need to do is go to the noise texture right here and just scale it up to what you would like. And also I'm going to pull some of these tones just a little bit. So we've got the exact same tones, but on the colour ramp, because this is a bigger plate, the tones are a little bit more spread out. You can have something like that. So when we go to this bigger plate right here, obviously the texture is going to be a little bit bigger as well. So we can go ahead with drop down menu, and if we go to the original base coat, we've got something like this. And I think I'm going to add another light in here so you guys can see, because it looks a little bit darker, but it's actually not. It's the same tones, it's just the lighting's off. So yeah, it's a bigger pattern right here. I mean, you guys can amend this pattern to what you would like. I'm going to go ahead and just duplicate this so we have the base coat, so it should say 001. We're going to amend that to big plate as such, and then we'll scale this up just to make sure that pattern's not been stretched. Okay, so once we've got this, if you want to add the gold trim, let's go back to layout. I'm going to go 7 to heaven real quick. Let's go back onto the excuse me, the third render. Let's go to the small plate to begin with. We'll go to edit mode. We're going to do the exact same thing that we did with the bowl and go around the edge and just select everything here, holding shift and control. Sorry, it's kind of blocked it off, hasn't it? So shift control all the way around. Oops, don't click the amending stuff. Right, there we go. Right, so we've got the nice little circle going around. We're going to go with plus on the materials tab. Go into your drop down, you want to go gold trim and click assign. So now we're going to go back to object mode, click your larger plate, we'll go to edit mode, again, shift control, and just go ahead and select that loop all the way around to the back of the plate. Press plus on your materials tab and we'll go to that drop down with gold trim and click assign. So now you should have 3 plates all with nice little gold trims and nice little patterns and stuff to work with. So these would be great for props and stuff, so like you'd be making games or something like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and make my thumbnail. Actually, you guys can see how I make my thumbnails. So let's go with G. I'm just gonna go ahead and place these on top of one another. So maybe yeah, I can kind of see what's going on here, and then I'll go 7 to heaven. Oops, sorry, no, that one. Let's go 7 to heaven on there, so I can see from the up side, and then I can see from the side right here. So let's go with G, bring this to the center, just sit that on top of there, and then I'm going to take this ball right here, press G to bring this across. It's not exactly perfectly in line, but that's okay. And then we're just going to sit that. I think that would be roughly in the correct position, just on top of that one. I'm going to go ahead and just move this to the side, actually. Okay, yeah. I kind of like that. That ball, to be honest with you, if I redid this, I probably would have squished the ball down a little bit. I feel it's too much. But yeah, that's the tutorial for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please do something with the patterns a little bit more than I have. Yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. See you later.